There's a lot of talk about AI tools, particularly ChatGPT right now. But here's an AI tool that's very useful when you're presenting, when you're having conversations and facilitations using Zoom to give you feedback on how you speak, how you connect, and how you influence. You can also use it for uploading videos and audio. So we'll have a look. I'm using Zoom to have a meeting with myself using my desktop and my webcam over here, and then I'm using my mobile with the camera over here, meeting with myself. But there are 3 people in this meeting because I've got an AI tool running, which you can see on screen here, called Udly. Now this is a free tool that allows you to get feedback on how you present and how you show up to a meeting and a presentation. So it records the audio and the video, and it also transcribes as part of the whole process and gives you feedback. So this part is me just showing you that it's there. So I'm going to show you Udly. Let me just drag that over. There we go. So this is the software, Udly, and you can see here it's recording right now. And what it does is you add this AI app as a person, as a person entering your meeting. You give it the link which you get from Zoom. So in here, when you're adding your participants, you can share the link. So if you go invite, copy a link, invite, and paste it into Udly. Udly then requests to be added to your meeting. You say yes, and there it is. So whenever I'm doing this, if I'm doing it with another person, when I'm not meeting with myself, I let them know what this is. Just so they're not uncomfortable with the process, because it is recording everything. Now, I think it goes for a maximum of, it's either 30 minutes or an hour, and then it cuts off. That check, and also check the plans and pricing, because obviously it's the free version is limited, which we'll go through shortly. So where you can use this is to create content, to create value for your clients, for your audience, and also to learn, to get feedback. So I'm going to now show you the back end. So I'm going to stop this Zoom meeting and show you what this meeting gives you. So now that I've finished the meeting, I go back into the home. You can see here is the recording, but it's processing. That's why there's no preview and there's no time. So that takes a bit of time, and you'll get an email to say it's ready, and it gives you a bit of a summary about how many filler words you use and things like that. You can see here there is some information here. Oh, there we go, it's finished, and it gives you your pacing. So you can see here a few tests I've done. So if I go into this particular meeting, which was with myself, you can see instantly there's a transcription with the timestamp. Now, if I want to use this transcription for some purpose, it may be to put it into a summary, if it was for training or a meeting. So I can click on this icon here, copy transcript. Immediately it is copied. I can put it into a document and edit it, because you can see it highlighted my filler words. There's a lot of ums in here because I'm obviously thinking on the fly. So you might want to remove those out of the transcription. So let's have a look at what we've got. So at the top here, we've got the video, which we can play back. It was only 4 minutes long, and it shows my side, so my identity here. Now you can see there, I'm getting quite ready there. If we move along, and you can see that as you move along, it's showing you what I'm saying. So that's how the text works. So there's a video, there's a transcription. And because it was myself, there's no one else in this meeting. Now let's look to the right here. So essentially this is created for giving you, I guess, speaker analytics, speaker insights to improve your speakability. So you've got firstly word choice. So it gives you what went well. So what did I use? Non-inclusives. Great, I didn't use any non-inclusive words when I'm talking to myself. And top keywords. So what did I say a lot of? So we've got meeting, show, share, go, recording, using, and it shows where those words are. So you might be looking for patterns, for things words that are your go-to words, maybe your brand words, which is a positive, or your words that you repeat, which could be a negative. So you can make those adjustments to your speaking. Also, some of those words might be good for actually talking about your topic. And then what went well was there. What could be better? So repetition. So 9 repetitions. So it's showing me how many times I'm using these words. Now, sometimes that's going to be relevant because certain words you do need to use. But it's more about awareness. So you can work out, are there words you're saying that you don't need to be saying? Or are there alternative words you could be using? Filler words. Now, this is probably a big one. There was a lot of ums in there. Sometimes I purposely do it when I'm demonstrating, but when you're thinking, we say you might say so, you might say and, a joining word as your filler word. You know, okay, like, those sorts of words that you might put in. So have a look at, what you use. And then weak words. So so, just, well, actually. Firstly, they are actually fillers as well, but they're not necessary. And they devalue the content you're about to say. So you might want to look at that for yourself as well. Are there things you're putting in? Obviously, this was a test. So that's the word choice. Then we've got the delivery. So it gives information about eye contact. Now, obviously, you're looking at the camera, which is very difficult when you're doing a Zoom meeting because often the camera isn't where the attendees are, or your slides if you're delivering content. So you're going to be glancing between all things. And so whether that's accurate or not or useful is up to you. But if you're constantly maintaining eye contact with the camera, that's good if you're doing a monologue or a presentation style delivery. But if you're interacting with your audience and you're listening particularly, you're going to be looking at your audience, which is not down the camera. And that's very challenging unless you've got your camera positioned where your audience are. So have a think about that and if that's useful or not. Pacing. So I tend to speak naturally quite fast. And I'm conscious of, I do slow it down when I'm speaking to an audience, particularly if it's an audience that aren't as up to date with the topic I'm talking about. In conversation, I might be a lot faster. So mine is still conversational, but typically if I'm in conversation with somebody, now this was a test with myself, so slightly different, but if I was in conversation with somebody else, I may be speaking faster if we're in flow and they understand my topic and we've got that rapport. Otherwise, I would slow it down. So just be conscious of how fast you speak. Gives you words per minute, and it gives you a bit of a graph. Pauses. So, are there any pauses? Now, often when we're presenting, we can just keep going at 100 miles an hour and just not take a breath. So it's just being conscious of pausing, particularly when we're doing a presentation style delivery, to give people time to think. Smiles. So it's even picked up smiling at the camera, which I haven't seen before, which is kind of exciting. So making sure you try and smile when you're speaking. What could be better? Centering. Now, because I was using two devices, I was using my webcam and my phone, I'm not quite centered. Normally, I would aim to be, fairly centered with my camera. But once again, it depends on your delivery style. You can see here, I'm off to the side. Now, if I'm presenting in such a way that I've got slides behind me, maybe I'm using a green screen or I want to put some words on the screen. I want to maybe put captions on the video edit at a later state, then I may purposely sit off to the side. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just being aware of it. So the other thing that you can see normally is listening. Now, because this was a meeting with myself and I didn't say anything from the other perspective, that's not there. So have a look. Yeah, have a look at your own if you do test it, and I'll show here. So your recordings are in your library. So if I just show you a quick one with a team member we had, this is when we did a test a short while ago. This is 2 people, so it should have a few more things. So here you go. There's my AI speaking coach. And we've got word choice, listening, and delivery. So under listening, what went well? Monologues. There weren't any. Now, obviously, if you're speaking as in a conference one-way presentation, then it's going to be a monologue, and that's a good thing in that sense. Questions. So it picks up questions in the conversation. So you can see here's some questions. What could have been better? Talk time. Now you see I've said a lot. Now this is a meeting with my assistant. So I'm obviously giving some instructions. So in this case, I probably would have talked more than he did. But if it was more of a conversation, then it's going to be slightly more balanced. So, but once again, being aware and knowing your purpose is useful. Delivery, eye contact, centering. So you can see here perfectly centered because that's where I tend to sit when I'm using one camera. Smiles, I tend to try to smile. Pacing, slightly, conversational fast, but because it's not a presentation, it's a conversation. And then you can self-evaluate as well. And you can see here when it's 2 people, there's the conversation on both sides with the timestamps. And I can copy the transcript and paste it into somewhere else, repurpose it, or whatever you need to do.
So that's how you use it with Zoom. So you set up a free account, you get the meeting link from Zoom and invite your Udely AI assistant in. If you're going to Udely as well, you can, there's lots of tutorials to learn how to use Udely, how you can improve things as well. And if you look at the very top here, records, you can record directly in the app. You can record a speech, an interview, a Zoom call, and you can upload a speech here as well. So an MP4 video or any type of audio file you can upload here as well. So say you've done an audio interview on a podcast and you're able to get that file down, you can upload it and get a transcript and get feedback. So there's two parts to this. Getting the transcript, maybe for record keeping, well, the three parts really. It may be, so number one, record keeping. Number two, content creation and repurpose of that content. And number three is that feedback, which could be quite useful. So that's Udely. I just wanted to introduce it to you as a potential tool. It's an AI tool, slightly different to the others, but it's aiming to help you improve the way you speak, the way you connect, and the way you influence.